number 48. Just a reminder, you can find all my shows and notes at callthatgirl.biz/office365 or at callthatgirl.podbean.com. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/callthatgirl. I am a Microsoft Outlook expert, Office 365 consultant. I try to take remote support jobs from around the country. I also help technicians around the country. And if you are looking for someone to hire, you can email me, lisa@callthatgirl.biz, or you can call me at 612-865-4475. All right. Before we get going with the show, I would like to thank our friends over at AppRiver for being my show sponsors. They are all located in Florida, and they are great for me as a backup as a one-person tech show. I have Rob today on from Soho. I'm sorry, Rob. What was your Soho Tech?
Soho Tech Columbus.
Soho Tech Columbus. Sorry about that. Rob is also an AppRiver partner, right?
I am, and also I'm a customer.
Customer, yep.
Which we're going to talk about today.
I'm a customer too. I do all my stuff through them, but I like using AppRiver because they're 24/7, and since I'm a partner of theirs, my clients can call them and get the support they need from the Exchange server side. And then if you're a reseller, you probably manage it yourself, but they're a good backup for you as well. And let's see here. So the show's topic today, folks, is Rob and I are going to eventually talk about we increased our prices lately, so we'll have some stories about that. But Rob has an interesting story about something that happened to him recently, and it's a little testimonial for AppRiver. So go ahead, Rob.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I had signed up originally Office 365 directly with Microsoft a couple of years ago, and then started with AppRiver, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, reselling that or partner so that AppRiver was available to provide support for post-migration work. So we've worked on several migrations together, and I've done some on my own as well. And it came time for me to renew my Office 365 mailbox for my own business, for my own mailbox, and I wanted to, as Microsoft uses the expression, eat my own dog food. So I wanted to actually move my own mailbox from Microsoft directly to AppRiver. And we've done migrations before, so I knew the process. So it was coming up on the expiration date with Microsoft, so it was perfect timing. What I did was I did all the prep work for DNS that we work with, and everybody who does migrations knows that you have to take care of that part of it. But when it came time to actually create the domain entry in the portal, it kept giving me an error saying that this domain already existed. So I called up AppRiver and explained the situation, that not only, they have me as a reseller, but also now I'm a client trying to move my own domain. And they explained that you cannot have two portal.office.com entries for the same domain. So I actually had to delete the domain from my old Office 365 account, and they provisioned me a new one with the long prefix on Microsoft.com. And then I would need to recreate the domain, recreate all of my users, which is just myself, as well as add all of my additional SMTP aliases. What was really great, and what I wanted to bring up to you and to everybody else who's listening, whether they're clients or customers or potential clients or customers, is that I actually called AppRiver, and they were great. They were ready to walk me through the whole process of using MigrationWiz, of making sure I documented all of my information, because I needed to delete the domain. And during that short window, but after I deleted the domain and before I added the domain on the other portal admin account, my domain didn't exist. I could not receive any mail. So I figured a good time to do it when I didn't expect to have any mail for maybe 30 or 60 minutes, and I was able to do it. We've done enough that you probably know that process, and they wanted me to use MigrationWiz, which I have another story to tell about how they're a great product. But I knew what I needed to do. So I was able to actually export my entire mailbox. I documented all of my aliases that I have, and then I was able to create the new account, create the new mailbox for myself, and import all of the content. So
I get nervous about that stuff sometimes. That the removing the domain, I've done that, and even though it's such little Oh, sorry, we got some feedback there, Rob.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I still get nervous sometimes, even with those little buttons you have to click and stuff. And so, good testimony for, if they walked you through it. I get that too. I don't get a lot of people that come over. That's why I try to sell them on to AppRiver right away. But if they're already on it and stuff, it's hard to cross over.
Well, I definitely wanted to use the service, not only so that I could take advantage of their tech support if I ever needed it, but to use the service just like I recommend to my own customers. And if you think about it, it's I think maybe $1 more per mailbox. So if you think about if you have to use that once ever,
$12 a year.
You've already made back your money. And if you have a larger business with multiple users, having that 24-hour based, US-based tech support, they were going to go above and beyond what I needed them to do. Once they told me what I needed to do, I realized what it was and was able to handle it myself. Yeah. But he was ready to walk me through all the steps and do it. A remote connection, I was like, nope, I got it exactly. Thanks for explaining it. So I was able to take care of it. But I definitely want to. I want to sing
you off the phone.
Yeah, I wanted to sing their praises because they definitely, helped me out and took care of me, and I'm on their platform now. The old subscription directly with Microsoft has expired, and I'm very, very happy with it. Plus, I got I don't know, what was it, a 2-week or a 30-day trial, whatever that free period is. So that's always nice.
Got a little free time.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just so nice for me to have a backup. I just can't. I mean, I say it every show that I appreciate having that backup, and as a solo technician, I don't have that fear of having to do the calls to Microsoft and dealing with all that, and it's so frustrating because you already know that you know more than first and second level. You already know that, and your clients know that, so I don't even have a problem selling AppRiver to clients. I mean, ever. Because I tell them that $12 you pay extra is so valuable. My rates are too high, and if I can't get something fixed, I mean, I've just never had anything not be fixed with calling AppRiver. It just happens.
They're great. And if you look at their website and see the number of locations that they have, the number of mailboxes that they're hosting, it is a very reputable company, and I've been very satisfied with them.
Me too. Yeah, about 3 years now. I keep saying that. I love it. And it's really helped me with, I think, growing the business too, because I haven't had to, except I've used you on, for the past year and a half or so.
Yeah,
yeah, I do a fair amount of migration work, and haven't had to have a big staff yet, Now, yeah, I want to one day, Rob.
We'll get there. We'll get there. The other Office 365 story. You want me to go ahead and tell you that?
Oh, throw it right in there. Let's go for it.
So this is more on the corporate side. So the company that I work for, primarily full-time, acquired another company, and that company was on Office 365, and when we acquired them, brought them onto our on-premises Exchange environment. So it was kind of a reverse of what we usually do, in our migration. So this time I was moving from 365 to an on-prem Exchange server, and this is one of those cases where I did use MigrationWiz. I had maybe 20 or 25 mailboxes, and MigrationWiz was fabulous. So I definitely want to sing their praises as well. For the cost, it is absolutely worth it. I was able to, with administrative credentials on the portal side as well as on my corporate Exchange side, go ahead and enumerate all of the mailboxes, all of the content, do some preliminary test migrations to make sure everything worked, and moved tens of gigabytes of mailbox content with the click of a button. So it was definitely, I don't know, maybe 30 or 60 minutes worth of work, and all of the mail flowed over automatically into these users' mailboxes. So for anybody who's looking at doing a large migration, whether number of mailboxes or mailboxes with a tremendous amount of content, I definitely recommend MigrationWiz. It was great, and for the cost, it is absolutely a no-brainer.
The last one I did was 6 people. And I got lucky because they were 100% in the cloud Office 365. There was no on-site desktop except for the owner, which I had to do the VIP level for her, the fine-tuning, aftercare, all that. So with those 25 people you did they have a desktop deployment that they had to do, and you had to go and do all their, fixing all the little stuff?
The desktop engineering is actually handled by another team, but those
nice.
mailboxes are automatically provisioned anyway through the base image that we deploy, so that was not an issue. But Migration Wiz was great through moving calendar content, moving contacts, moving inbox, moving the inbox rules. So if people have rules for inbound content to go to specific folders, all of that's taken care of as well. So that was really.
When you're on a domain, you can actually manage all that from the server end, because I worked in corporate for many years, and I forgot that when you log in, it's all just kind of happens with the server management. It's not like my home, my clients who work from home or have small offices and everything's not, managed very well. Yeah.
So it was great. There was one standout user that was a bit of an eye opener. She didn't have a significant mailbox. She had I don't know, maybe 2 gigabytes. But the important part of it that was eye-opening to me was she had about 950 folders. So this is Outlook 2013 on Exchange 2013, and I know in previous versions of Exchange, because users have created enough to break it, there used to be a hard limit of I think about 255 folders.
Yeah.
Once you did that, you were in danger of corrupting your mailbox. Obviously, that's been increased, but I don't want to encourage users to try to find that upper limit, because there were some other issues that we had with her mailbox unrelated to the migration and unrelated to Office 365, but diagnosing that became problematic because we couldn't find messages, and it was an issue of we had 950 locations to look for. So it became very problematic. And in my own life and in my own mailbox, and what I recommend to users is the search box at the top of Outlook is very, very powerful. There isn't a need to create a huge Byzantine level amount of folders, because you're just going to cause problems for yourself, for your administrators. If you're in a corporate environment, you're going to create so many rules that you may end up having conflicts. And if people would get away from thinking that Exchange and Outlook is file storage, then I think it would be beneficial, because that's not the place to well, we'll wage that
file storage.
one battle at a time. One battle at a time. So it became problematic, and I definitely encouraged her to reduce the number of folders, because it was baffling to me. She'd been an employee for about 3 years, and she already had 950 folders. So she was creating a folder every day, which I cannot fathom why you would need that. How you're organizing by client or by vendor or by project or whatever you're doing.
You know what she does? Is what my last client that paid me 4 hours to do was every single email that came in got a rule. So if she got something from Bed Bath & Beyond, there was a rule that Bed Bath & Beyond went to a folder. I don't know why that she needed that. But you know what? I've learned to stop training people in that sense. You can't change their brain until it breaks, and then you have to retrain them. So that's when I come in and go, yeah, now we're going to train you the right way. But they're on a corporate server, and I do know that me and you had that migration last summer where I had 1,300 folders.
Yeah. And
because he came from an IMAP situation, I had to click on each folder not once but twice to lift. I think I'd known about the filters at that time, but when you were bringing down mail, even on an Exchange server, 2013 has that slider now. It says keep all mail from 12 months or forever. And that, when people call in after a migration, they're like, email's missing, you got to slide that over, close Outlook and relaunch it, and then the email should come down. That sucks.
Yeah, that's hard. But you know from the work that we've done before, I am very organized, and I ascribe to try to have kind of an inbox zero approach to my own mailbox,
Yep.
and I have, I don't know, 5 or 6 folders, and that's it.
So you're judgy.
No, no,
I
no,
love
no.
folders.
If that works for you, then good.
I don't have
That
that many.
doesn't work for me, so I use my own system. But yeah, so that was a problem for her, and it became kind of cumbersome to take care of some follow activities that she needed some assistance with. So I think she's all sorted out now. So she's going to try to reduce the number of folders, or at least stop creating a folder every single day.
She actually was making more than one a day per business hours available in a week.
Yeah, it's a little staggering.
I would say that's a little on the other side. I've never, well, except for the guy with 1,300, I don't think I've seen that many.
That's one of those things where you take a screen capture of that and you put it in your library so you can look at it later oh my God, you remember when we found this person? And yeah.
I think I've got about 20 folders, but then I go through them about every couple months and clean them out because I forget about stuff. And I don't know, I'm going to be making a training video here pretty soon, and it's going to be like, I don't know, 50 things you didn't know Outlook could do kind of thing. I'll be talking about some email management because you have inbox zero. I do too. I mean, I don't have a day that goes by that my email hasn't been cleared out twice, if not more. But the training video is going to be neat. There's a lot of things with 2013 and 16 I hope to touch on because it's changed a lot. Do you guys have, with your company, the upgraded Outlook, 13 and 16?
Everyone's on 13.
Oh, thank God. This wasn't going to be on the topic list, but let's just talk about that 2016 nightmare. I am getting an insane amount of calls right now from 16. Breaking, uninstalling repairing is uninstalling it now. Have you had that happen?
No, I have very few users and clients that are on 16. I'd say it's maybe a few dozen, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, when it starts to get flaky, like one of my clients out in Boston, he's had flakiness where his graphics go crazy, and it's starting to go nuts. Like he'll click on something, it'll have a black screen. Well, there's a new thing that you can do is turn off animations, which is not the graphics accelerator that you know about.
Mm-hmm.
I've trained you on that. In that same area of Outlook, and in the options, you go to the advanced. Down below is turn off animations, and that should fix those graphic black screens. Well, unfortunately, this client's got way too many, and I said, man, you got to downgrade. And Rob, he's got like 10 email accounts, tons of rules, 20 PST files. I mean, it's going to be a bad rework for him, and he knows it. So right now he's just trying to struggle through it. But that 2016, I told him, be prepared. If we try to repair it, it might just uninstall, and it deletes the profile.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes away now, and I'm like, oh, my God. So the problem is what people are doing is that they've got, let's just say, one IMAP in there, and they've got a calendar and tasks and people, right? And those are all in that OST file for this computer only. That all goes away, and it even deletes the OST now. Where before, at least it kept the OST file, so you could at least try to repair that. No more. So now, because I already back up everything anyway, now it's just like every time I take a job, I just instantly back up everything just in case, because if shit goes down, I'm not going to be, oh my God, no matter what you do, you're responsible, right?
Absolutely.
You're the tech. It's, yeah.
You touched it last, you broke it.
No. I've actually had a few clients thank me for doing that backup because it hurt them later. And they were like, I had that backup. I'm like, yep. So as a tip to anybody listening, client or technicians, make sure that you back up, especially things like the calendar, contacts, and tasks. I had a client yesterday. They're a company up in Colorado. It's a franchise, and their tech likes Google Apps. But he didn't tell me Google Apps. He just said Gmail, Google. So I didn't know about the apps part. So I'm in there looking at his profile going, where's all the stuff? And I didn't see the word Google Apps in there because the profile name was too long, so I didn't know. So I'm sitting there looking for all the OST files. I can't find anything. Finally, I tell the guy, I don't know if I can get this. I tried a OST to PST converter tool because I found the OST, tried 2 of those, couldn't find it. he basically didn't care about his calendar or contacts. He had about probably over 1,000 tasks. Okay? Tasks live in the OST file if it's on Exchange or IMAP, whatever. Okay, so finally, we were kind of put into bed. He was okay with losing the task, even though I wasn't happy about it. And he says the one thing at the end that clinched it. He goes, you know, Lisa, this is what's funny, is right after he set me up, my calendar synced. And I'm like, it's synced? He goes, yeah. My calendar synced with Google and my phone. And I went, oh my God, then you're on Google Apps. And you know what? Because there's no other tool that he had in his Outlook. And remember, he's the only Outlook user of this whole franchise. So you've got 24 other people that use the browser, okay? And I said, you know what? I went and there I look, and there's the Google Apps Sync tool, and I launched it, and all of a sudden things started coming down and populating, and me and the guy like had a stroke together. Like, we both were oh my godding. I was so happy for him, and I was helping another client, but here I am I'm watching in the remote, watching these tasks pop down, and the guy, and the guy literally like freaking out. So the problem I have with his technician is that his technician, you know, this guy's the president. He's not taking care of his number one client on the Outlook side, and here this guy's thinking he lost all of his stuff. And so that was my first job yesterday. That was really a Friday happy ending. And then I had another guy who had his company, his motherboard fried out. So I think they just swapped it, but he had the same hard drive. And his Outlook crashed during that somehow. So, sorry, I'm distracted with my beep up here. So he lost.
I think you need a new 9-volt battery.
Well, I got my guy coming tomorrow. Do you know how tall my ceilings are? If you can see this video, they're like 20 feet tall, man, and I need 2 ladders, which I don't get on. Okay, so anyway, he had a motherboard swap, but something went crazy with his Outlook, and one set of his contacts were missing. So in an Exchange environment, all your contacts in the list are on the left, but there was nothing in the personal contacts. There was a folder named personal contacts, and I'm like, oh my God, where did these go? They weren't deleted. There was nothing to recover, and I'm just thinking, I don't know what happened. So luckily we had a backup from when I helped him 3 months ago, because I was smart and backed up his contacts for him. All of his stuff was there, and he didn't really care about the last 3 months. He's a sales guy. So a salesperson, their notes in a contact are critical for them. And if they're not using a tool like BCM or Business Contact Manager, that's their livelihood, is going to those notes and looking. Just like this owner of the franchise, his were tasks for some reason. That's where his life was. So this is very critical to people. So like I said, backing up is so important no matter what. You guys that are listening, is just do that before you do any kind of manipulating of third-party apps, transferring data. If you think it's just easy to, you know, oh, I'm just going to transfer all this to another computer, always try to back it up to a PST just in case. Do whatever you can to be preventative, because what is it? 1 ounce of prevention? You know, it really does matter. It really does. Yep. Excuse me. All right, Rob. So those were kind of my 2 stories. Let me get my notes here. I had kind of a weird week. I'm finishing up the first week of May, and I talked to you on the phone the other night, so I was like, well, why don't we talk about this pricing update issue, and I'll let you go first because you just raised your rates.
I did.
Not a lot, but enough that it was significant, right?
Well, yeah, a little bit, and it's funny. I was listening to some of the other podcasts, and they were talking about this exact same topic, as well as MSP. So we may go into that later. I think that the part that I wrestled with and I thought about, and I decided to raise my rates was based on the service that I give my clients. They know that when they have me come out to their home or their office, or we do remote work, they are going to get quality that merits that price increase. I've been in IT for over 20 years. I've been working on the corporate side, on the small business and the residential side, and they know that I have the breadth and the depth of knowledge so that they're going to get their hour's worth, or however long it takes. They're always going to give me a call or an email at random times, and they know that if they have a quick question, they're not going to get a 15-minute bill for it.
Yeah.
There was another podcast where someone was talking about 20 for 20, $20 for, up to a 20-minute question kind of a thing. So they're not going I'm not going to charge them a petty amount for little things.
Yeah.
And they're going to get a quality service. I'm running something right now. I'm running some promotions for some of my clients, and today I went and did some work with a woman in her office and did a Windows 10 upgrade. So I did her Windows 10 upgrade. While that process was going, we talked about backups, we talked about antivirus, we talked about moving her to Office 365. We had a tremendous conversation.
A technical consult while you were doing other work. That's
Absolutely.
great value.
I mean, we're waiting for the the percentage counter to increase on the machine for Windows 10 to install, but she got all of that extra information at no charge. I ended up being there with her for 3 hours.
Oh my God.
I charged her for an hour and a half.
Well, why?
So, well, there was some waiting time.
Explain why.
I know this kind of goes against everything that you've been talking about, giving away time. But
I do it too. Though.
Before doing a Windows 10 upgrade, I always make sure that the client has backed up their data. Just in case. I don't want their all their data to be gone. She's a professional, so she has business-related information on this computer, which if it goes away, she's in a world of trouble.
Yeah.
So she had a few gigabytes worth of data that she doesn't back up.
Yeah.
So I quickly threw it on one of my thumb drives that I had. Well, that took half an hour. And then starting the whole backup process. I wasn't sure if she had all of the Windows 10 bits downloaded, so I'd previously downloaded the Media Creation tool, which is free from Microsoft for the Windows 10 image. It's current as of, I think, a couple months ago, maybe February. So there are still a couple of updates that you need to apply after that. There are several ways with NT Lite and other things, other software that's freely available, so you can slipstream some of that. But I did her whole Windows 10 installation. There's a tremendous amount of privacy settings that I prefer to set for clients, because there's a lot of advertising information, there's a lot of diagnostics and feedback and other network sharing and things like that by default Microsoft turns on with Windows 10. And I'm not comfortable with those. When I talk to clients about it, they say, yeah, turn that off. So if you're doing a Windows 10 installation yourself and just clicking, yes, install, next, and I'm all done, you're going to accept those defaults from Microsoft. But I give that extra quality, attention to detail, and make sure that they're getting quality service. And I think those are that's what I touch on, and that's what I keep circling back to for justifying my rate increase. And since I increased my rates in November of 2015, so maybe 5 or 6 months ago, I've had 2 people comment about the pricing increase. Yeah. Everybody else hasn't balked at all about it. So maybe they're balking, they just don't tell me, or maybe they've just decided never to call me. But I haven't gotten any pushback from anybody for the most part, and I think it's justified. They see that they're getting a quality service, and they have me as a resource, and it's worth the price.
Yeah, you're pretty thorough with your documentation and the work you do. I mean, as a testament to you, and I don't know if any of your clients are going to hear this, but yeah, you do stellar work with all of that. Probably better than most people.
Thank you.
I won't name names. But you know what? You already, you come from a corporate environment of documentation that, is pretty serious and things like that. And I'm sure that she got a huge report at the end. God, to whoever's listening, I'm sorry about that alarm. It just started when the show started, of course. Okay. Well, my update on my pricing is not so long yet. I've only had it for 6 weeks, 5 weeks. I was very nervous when I first decided to do it, but I had to realize, like you, that I needed to raise more, to raise my rate for a few reasons. One is that I said this on a past show too, but when a general technician is charging what I'm charging, that doesn't put me in a different state of being an expert, in my opinion. So a lot of techs are starting to creep up to my rate, which my old rate was $139. And I'm talking about a small shop up in northern Minnesota. That guy was $135 an hour. And after he told me that, I said, I have to raise it, because what's going to differentiate me, besides I'm a generalist tech who does everything. So I decided to raise it to $169. And now I've got a few different types of clients that call in. I've got the ones who are definitely price-oriented. I got the ones that don't even ask me what my rates are at all till I tell them at the end when I'm getting their credit card. And those are the clients, I think, that they're frustrated with calling Microsoft. They're frustrated with their past tech support guys, whatever, or the Apple store, and no one seems to be able to fix it, and they just want it fixed. So I knew I wouldn't have a problem with those people. I also knew that I wouldn't. I did raise my prepaid ticket rates $100 too. So overall in April, I saw an increase of about 20% from last year. And then when I did the exact math of calls, what the old billing would have been compared to this, it was $1,100. So the end of it is I made $1,100 extra dollars based upon the calls that came in. Now, if I wouldn't have raised my rates, would I have got other calls? I don't know. A lot of times that $139, Rob, I charged, that was too expensive for some people anyway. I got those kind of calls before that. So it wasn't like, it was a big game changer. But the thing that me and you were talking about on the phone the other night that kind of got me really thinking is, didn't I say I felt like it's been super slow?
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of people are seeing my $169 on my scheduling form now online. They're not calling in because I'm already too expensive. So that took away probably a lot of the calls.
Yeah, you get those tire kickers.
Well, if they see on my appointment scheduler $169 and I'm already too expensive, that eliminated that. So those calls, the volume went down for one. But then I still get the calls that come in, and those people aren't looking at my scheduler. Now, the one thing I've learned is I need to change my approach on calls that come in, the people that don't know, because what they do is they call in and they always say this. Okay, let me tell you what's going on. 8 minutes of hearing the horrifying stories for me to say, okay, well, it's going to be 1 to 3 hours on $169, and then they go, ooh. So I don't want to waste those 8 minutes. I appreciate them. Almost none of them, if they inch about my price, are going to hire me anyway. So I've learned that the new strategy, which I'll have to update, see how this goes, is I give them 1 minute to kind of discuss, for me to stop and say if I can help or not, and then tell them my rates and how I work. And if they're interested, they can continue to tell all their stories they want, but it'll be on a billable credit card because it'll turn into an appointment. Now that is the only thing I can figure out that's going to make sense, is to listen a little bit, make sure I can help, then say, okay, I can help here, let me get your card. I'll finish talking to you, we'll schedule an appointment, and then it's all done. Secured job.
Absolutely. And I think another point is not only does increasing the price work as a marketing strategy and convey quality to the client, because in their mind they have to be thinking, Lisa or Rob, this is the hourly rate.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't care, but maybe they say, wow, that's high. This person must do a good job. So, they know their stuff, and they're going to fix my problem after I've been to, any number of places before and paid less and got less. But also I think it works from our side as well, because you and I know we're charging, whatever the dollar amount is, we'd better give them quality. So I think it works both ways, that not only do they know that they're going to get quality service to solve their problem, but that we're going to deliver it.
Yeah, I think that what you were saying earlier about how, according to you, what a great job you do. I, on the other hand, but I mean, that's how every tech has their great thing, right? Like, here's what I'm really good at.
You said I did a great job.
I'm not denying it. I'm just saying Like for me, here's what I say is great about what I try to tell clients is I don't bill you for time I'm not on the clock doing like a data move. Like where you sat there with her for those 3 hours, I absolutely would not do that. I would take them off the clock and go do other stuff because I'm remote. I'm not
Right.
at her house. So to me, one of my selling points is I tell people, look, if I'm in a big Gmail fix, it takes me an hour to move data, I don't bill you for that time. So that to me is a bonus of me being an expert because I already can time things like that. I manage multiple jobs remotely. And so when people are, looking at hiring me, I'm like, well, here's what makes me more valuable. You've already called Microsoft for 3 hours. You've already been to the Apple store, and maybe your local tech doesn't know. So here's your answer, me. And I'm expensive, but I'll get it done. It will be fixed. And sometimes the fix is moving them to Exchange, as I've said before. But, that's the work I do. So it's kind of like you have to fine-tune your sales pitch for these price adjustments. This last week was slow. And then, of course, I got nervous, and I was like, God, did I go up too high? But I'm like, April was awesome. But I had more time on my hands than I was used to, and that kind of made me nervous because I'm used to doing more, So now it's time to up the marketing a little bit.
There are always new things to learn.
Yeah, I'm going to up the marketing because I think that's the next. I haven't decided if I'm going to grow the company yet or not. So if I don't, I just got, I want a little more busy. And it's not the money because, Rob, I don't really talk about, the money so much as I just like being active and busy with my work because I think if I had to slow down, it would really bother me. I like being busy. Yeah. All right. So anything else you want to add on about your pricing and
No, I think that it's a great conversation and it builds the trust in the relationship with the clients and if I do see that people are pushing back about quality and it's impacting, then I can always revisit it and maybe I would drop it or maybe I'll increase it. It really depends. But
well, you can make more money with other things with your current clients, and that's our next topic is MSP work.
Oh, good segue. Good segue.
I have some talents there, Rob. But before we go into that, I'm going to just say that just a month. So this story rolls into that. Is that just a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago, my white label partner closed shop on me, and that to me was the end of it. So April was kind of slow for me too because I didn't have to do the communications for that. When you have a lot of extra things going, communications is a lot of the work. So April to me was slow. I didn't have anybody to talk to, and then you're talking about adding it on. So take it away.
Sure. Well, I noticed that as I'm visiting. Oh, there's a little bit of echo there. So I noticed in visiting my clients that I see frequently every 6 or 12 or 18 months that whether it's a virus cleanup or doing updates for their Java, Adobe, whatever they may have, it's the kind of thing that I can take care of in an MSP situation. And I saw that continuing as a trend. And it's something that I have just started recently expanding out to offer to these clients. And I think that it may be less of a moneymaker for me. It's it's kind of the trade-off of a lower amount of money but more consistent money. Whereas if I were to go and bill them for an hour or two once or twice a year, it would earn me more money, but it's doing a disservice to them. So I wanted to build that relationship where they know that all of their Windows updates, all of their third-party program updates are being installed.
Yeah.
They're getting antivirus, they're getting malware protection, they're getting all of those little things that they may not be paying attention to because they're running their life, they're running their business, whatever they're doing. And to ask them to manage those items is unreasonable. So I just started recently, a few months ago, working with an MSP, and I've rolled it out to some of the clients, and so far it's working out great.
What do you call it? Like a service plan?
Yeah, it's monthly maintenance program. Sometimes I call it a or a security program. I'm still, I haven't settled on a good name for it, and I need some help with that.
I went through, I cannot tell you, one of my favorites, I called mine Supermax. Because I wanted to feel very like the computer was in prison. It was so funny. It was one of those things where I was trying to come up with a cool name, and Supermax did not win. Did not do well. But yeah, I like Service Plan. It just keeps it real simple. You know, it seemed like simple services that you just pay a few bucks a month for and you get everything done. What are you charging?
Well, it depends. I'm offering a multi-machine discount. I'm doing a special right now during kind of the springtime to try to ramp up and get additional customers on it. But it equals out to about 1.5 appointments per year. So, you know, that's the way that I advertise it of, you're going to call me anyway.
Yeah.
So how about instead of waiting until it gets bad, everything gets cleaned up every day, and you don't have to call me out, you know, when things get bad, and you know that.
Sorry, do you include tech support in that at all, like for anything, or is that just only those services?
No, just only those services.
Good call. Good call. You know what I hated, though, was telling people, oh, God, I'm not going to miss these days either, is telling people, okay, it includes everything but, and then you got the huge list of things that don't include. Because one of the service plans I had includes some things, like Windows updates up to 30 minutes of help, and virus removals for free. Then the next time I offered it with another company, it was all inclusive, all you can eat, and except for Outlook. I never included that. So how are you telling people, just basically if you need me for something that's billable, except for that?
That hasn't come up yet, but I enumerate out a list of what's included on their invoice. It's on my website too, so if it's ever a situation where they say, I also want this, and I have to say, I'm sorry, that's not included, then I can, you know, refer back to that. I don't, you know, hopefully, knock wood, I don't see that as becoming adversarial. I definitely want to help them. You know, if they have a different issue, and, you know, depending on how things go or my relationship with them, maybe I would offer them a discount. You know, or do something. If it's very quick and easy, maybe there's no charge, and that's, you know, kind of goodwill.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Every situation is going to end up being different.
I had one client that was on the service plan with 3 computers. They bought the program thinking everything was included, including Outlook support, and it was not. I've always made it very clear Outlook was not included. And, of course, the day that they had an Outlook problem, I was so embarrassed I didn't even want to say anything. So I did the job first, and then I said, I'm going to compliment this for you this one time, you know, just to let you know. Well, it turns out that the partner I was using, they were only paying $20 a month for support. So I ended up giving away a half hour of time free, but at least I got the warning in, and I felt better about that because I don't like shocking any clients with ticket surprises at all. Not at all. It sucks. I don't like companies that do that. Don't have that expectation met. And you know what? I want to add on one thing about raising my prices that I've did. So if anybody's listening and they're, how do you do it? Is that I can't send out a newsletter to all my clients telling them, because 10 to 20% of my people read my newsletters, right? So one thing I did was I verbally give them a one-time old price before I raise a new one. So every client that's called in, I'm like, okay, my new rate is $169 for next time. This time it's $139 because I didn't know how to tell you. So they've all been very appreciative of that. And I say that with the prepay too. You get one more prepay at the old price, the next one's higher. So that's what I did to alert the clients. How are you supposed to tell your whole clientele when they don't check your website, they don't check your newsletters, you know?
Yeah.
That's one thing I did. It worked. Everybody's been very thankful, and I've actually had many clients congratulate me for raising my rates too.
Oh, good. They see that they saw the value before you did.
Yeah. Well, they said that you've earned it, and those people, they're in businesses where their rates were higher too as they got better. You know, you can tell type thing. But one thing I don't miss is that MSP work. Not at all. I just finished the last client today. Boy, it took me 45 minutes to clean that up, and I'm free.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just getting into it. I enjoy it. I don't, we'll see how it turns out. But you're getting out of it. I'm getting into it.
I know. Well, you know what? Now you get to play with all the MSP boys.
Sure. Well, it's fun so far. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, you're listening to more MSP podcasts like MSP Radio and
Yeah, a few.
yeah. Yeah, it's really becoming popular, MSP. I mean, I think that is the next step for techs, because of all the problems that we're having. I agree in the business model of doing it. I just don't want to do it myself. No. Just the thought of managing anything gives me just a really bad feeling. Now, I'm sure you, because you love Migration Wiz, you probably love logging into your console every night and going, okay, here's what's updating bad. Let's go fix this. Nerd out.
What's green, what's yellow, and what's red?
Yeah, and you know what? When my old tech partner used to give me the console, I literally would look at it and go, I freaking hate this. I don't want to look at any console of anything. That to me is just personal.
There are a lot of different products out there, and there are a lot of different price points and tiers and ranges, and I looked at several of them, and it's a question of finding the one that works best for you. It's something that is definitely doable by the techs, and we just have to decide if it's something that we want to do or if we'd rather continue, in a break-fix model. And at
you
this
want to
point,
talk about? Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, at this point, I'm doing both.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of techs have to do. I like that they do break fix and add on the MSP. It's good services and it's good add-on money. What company are you using?
I'd rather not say.
Oh, that's fine. There's a lot out there. I've been I forgot to mention in the beginning of the show the Facebook groups that we're in. I don't know if you're in them, but there's the IT business owners one, and then my Office 365 Facebook group. So just a reminder to anybody who's watching, go ahead and go to the show notes and click on it there. But there's a lot of different companies out there now doing some stuff. And I got to say, I don't mind saying this company's name. Hold on. Let me find out who they were again. I got to make sure I have the right name. It was Ninja. RMN Ninja? Is that right?
They're one of them.
I actually had to work with them on a client thing. I had to help with something, and man, they answered their phone on the spot. Like, unheard of in tech support to get someone live in the first call, except AppRiver, of course, and me. But I don't see it that much. I always get a voicemail or it says email support, and they answered. And actually, the guy was sitting next to the guy that I'd worked on another project with for something, and it's a very small, good, close team, I think. And I told them, I said, you know what? I like companies that are answering the phone like that. And they took my request, and they were very clear and fast about it.
That's good. Good for them.
Yeah, I wish more people would stop, putting customer service last. Because customer service, to me, is what makes a business grow. Completely. Yeah, I was very happy with them. Although I don't do it. No, I was like, no. They said, do you want to do it? I go, no. I'm not going to be a client. No. All right, Rob. Anything else you want to mention? Any other juicy little stories?
No, that's it for me. I don't know. We'll catch up again.
Yeah, well, I thought we had 2 migrations scheduled, and one, I think, when disasters happen, that has to come first,
Sure.
So we're seeing a lot of it lately. But, yeah, this was just kind of a quick show me and Rob whipped together just to talk, basically, entertain everybody. Next week, I think coming up, I've got Steve Harris from AppRiver. I forgot to mention that, too. You can tell when I'm live on camera, I get a little freaky. I didn't do my intro like I should have. Steve Harris from AppRiver is going to be on the show next week, I think, and that'll be a good one to catch because he's my sales guy, and we're going to talk about all the stuff in depth, and so if people want to hear it, it'll be recorded for that. Anyway, again, if you're interested in talking to AppRiver, Steve's email is sharris@appriver.com. All right, Rob, if you got nothing else, I'm going to go up and close up the show here. Looks like a good chat show.
Okay, great.
Nothing else? Oh, also, if you need Rob for any, give you a little pitch here for his awesome Excel work and PowerShell skills, Orama, He's available for hire. Rob, give out your info.
Sure. If you need Excel, Active Directory, Office 365, PowerShell, any other tech support, or you want to work with me on an MSP program, we can do something like that. Give me a call, 614-323-4085, or my website is sohotechcolumbus.com.
Sweet. All right, cool. Folks, I'm going to close the show up. This has been a Heyman Hendrickson production, audio supported by Mitch Heyman. Thank you to our sponsor, AppRiver, and Podbean for hosting. If you have a story you want to share or become a guest on the show, please email me, Lisa@callthatgirl.biz. That's it, folks. See you next week.